Today on Brad's Shitty Car, we replace the radiator in this shitty car.
What's up, guys? I'm working on the Miata today. I'm replacing the radiator. The one it had in it was a dual core aftermarket aluminum radiator. The problem is it's a cheap radiator and the manufacturing was less than stellar. They used a rivet in the filler neck to hold on the overflow line, and because of that, the radiator cap would not get a good seal, so it would blow all of the fluid out of the overflow, and I just have to keep refilling it constantly. So I got a new radiator. It's a Koyo Rad, but it's OE style. I'm going to show you this because this is pretty incredible. The fin density on the OE style versus the aluminum dual core is incredible. Let me show you. Okay, so here we have my Koyo Rad. You can see it's pretty dense. When you get a close up on those fins, they are stacked on top of each other. That's gonna be great for cooling. But when we take a step over here to the dual core aluminum radiator, you can see that the fin density is lacking. It is spaced out pretty far from each other, not allowing as much cooling as that would allow. And what I was talking about with the filler neck here, you can see right there that there's a rivet just bobbing out, just hanging out on the filler neck, and that causes so many problems. Literally ruined the radiator cap. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Yeah. You can see it's missing a chunk right there and there. It just was not a good seal. All right, so before I can go ahead and put the new Koyo in, I'm gonna go to the hardware store. A lot of the hardware was rusty or broke when I took it out of the old radiator. There's a couple broken bolts in there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get new stuff, because if we grab it, let me see if I can show you. This one's pretty bad. Like, if you look at that, that's just nasty all the way around. Like, nothing good about that. So we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go with my roommate Sam here. We're gonna go to the hardware store and we're gonna get this squared away. Guys, one other thing I wanna show you real quick before we go ahead and head out to the hardware store is how this radiator was held in. And that is literally with these zip ties and like heat wrap ties. I wanna say it was an NB radiator and an NA, but it doesn't even have the tabs up top. They just didn't put the side pieces that attach on an NA radiator on for some reason, so it would fit in the factory location, and they used these instead. They also used some really cheap hose clamps that broke when I took them off, so that was also kind of shitty of this person. They just didn't do a very good job on this. They didn't use quality parts or anything, and that's always a big no-no in the Miata world. Guys, look what's back on the road. It's the Sportage. I'm really excited about that one because it's my favorite piece of shit. Like, I love my Spark, I love my Miata, but there's just something about this car that I love. It's a giant pile though. Masks on. Going through. Gotta find the hardware. Got us an M6x1, and we need 8 of them. Okay, cool. Let's go find these. They're gonna be over there. All right, so let's see. They have a flange M6x1. Perfect. Now, I need this to be 10 mils. It's like 15. Do they have a 15? Let's see. They got. Ooh, they do. I need one. How many's in here? I can't even see. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, that gives us an extra. I'll take it. Mine. All right, let's go install a radiator. Okay, so we're back home now, and I wanted to talk real quick because I'm real shitty at doing this. Ha. But I never ever tell you guys what I do to get the whatever started. So the radiator is really easy. Basically, you disconnect the upper and lower hose off the radiator, and then there's 2 bolts up top. I'll show you these in just a second. And what else is there? Oh, 1 bolt on bottom that holds like the AC lines on. So it's all generally a 10 mil. Now that I'm putting some aftermarket hardware in it, it's gonna be an 8. But still does the trick, holds it in there, does what I needed to do. Okay, so you can see right here, that's the top bolt. I believe it's generally a 12, and then basically on bottom it sits in these pegs right there and there that are unfortunately bent out of the way. I'm gonna have to bend them back so they sit properly. And then here's, oh, where is it? There's the top one, and then right down there you can see this little bracket is what bolts to the bottom of the radiator you have to take off. Because I had a dual core in there, I did take off one of the lines to the idle air control valve and the upper line because it just gave it a lot more room for clearance. Oh, and of course, remove your intake. Woo, it's hot out here. Okay, so we pretty much got everything buttoned up. The only thing I'm missing right at this point is I need some hose clamps, so I have to run back to the store and grab some hose clamps. Probably just go to Harbor Freight, get that kit for like $5-6, whatever it is. That comes with an assortment of them, because you'll probably pay the same for just 2 of them that I need, so might as well. And then I'll have a bunch more for the future. So, okay, I will get back to you in just a second. Okay, we finally got everything back together. We're bleeding the radiator right now. It's taking its sweet time like it always does. That's okay. It's doing pretty good. No surging as of yet. It just barely hit operating temperature, so we're doing just fine there. Hopefully we'll have this done shortly. You guys want to watch some bubbles? Here we go. Bubble action right there. Yeah, look at them bubbles. That is all air being burped out of my cooling system, which would mean that if I didn't do this, the car would overheat anyway. Okay, well, in other news, you can notice that there's kind of a big mess down here. That's because it started to surge. And if you don't know what surging is, it's basically when you're trying to bleed your cooling system, combustion is being pushed through the head gasket into the cooling system and coming out your radiator. And so it burps violently, I guess is a great way to describe it. And that's exactly what happened. That's why we've got this mess over here now. So basically what that tells me is this Miata needs a head gasket. Oh well. Like, it needed the radiator because this radiator was garbage. So I'm not mad about doing any of this work. It does mean that I get to do more work later on this car. But for now, we're gonna call it good. We're gonna go over to one of my favorite canyons down south called American Fork Canyon. Sam's never been there, and we're gonna go cruise that. So kind of a shitty ending to this for now, but it's only temporary, always temporary. We'll get it fixed. All right, like I said, we're just in the shitty Sportage. We're gonna cruise on down to American Fork Canyon. Sam's never been there, enjoy that. It's a little rough with the Miata, kind of a bittersweet ending. It's sweet because it needed the radiator and cap, so that's cool, we got that done. It's kind of unfortunate finding out I needed a head gasket, but honestly, in the bottom of my heart, I kind of already knew it. I had some heating issues, it blown coolant out before, and I know that can be caused by cap, that's pretty common, but in the back of my mind, I was like, but it could still be head gasket. And I'm glad I found out now, because it's not hard to do, not in those cars. They're Legos, guys. They're really easy to work on. And I'll probably make a video for that now. So the next thing is getting the motor and trans in the other Miata, installing the lift, and then probably, maybe, making a video of when I go to Portland. That'll be cool. And then after that, I still have the LS400, the Cressida. I have to do stuff with this. I've got some cool stuff coming for this shitty Sportage, but that's all right. It's one of my favorite things. I'll give you a hint. Something to do with the ECU, the exhaust manifold, and the intake manifold. So when you find out, or when I get the stuff, I'll let you know. It's been hard right now because COVID, and you can't ship things as easily as you used to be able to, especially when it's outside the US. All right, but for now, that's it. We're gonna go cruise. Maybe we'll get some shots of that for you too, maybe. It's one of my favorite spots, so yeah, I'll see you guys next time.